Vegas Detention Center.
Your account balance is $25.80. To hear the charges for this call, press 2. To accept this call, press 5. To refuse this call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Hello.
Hey, Blaine. Hey, quick question. We put $30 on like our number, but we also put $30 on another account. Hopefully, you got that.
Yeah, I got the $30 for this. So another account, another phone number.
Well, when I go to icsolutions.com, there's $30 that I can put on this particular phone number, but there's also $30 that I can put on. I forget the way they word it, but it's called. It allows you to call any phone, right? And so,
So it's like a debit thing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Maybe I can call my wife. She's been having a hard time keeping money on the phone.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I want you to use it, but at the same time, I logged in today because I did that. Remember you called us like a week or two ago, or not? It was like,
yeah.
Well, I did it immediately after that phone call, and now logged in today, and that $30 is gone. So I just hope you've got it and we're using it. I hope they didn't steal
absolutely.
it. Okay, very good, very good.
But I wanted to, just so other people can hear this on YouTube, I wanted to go over a little bit of who I am and
Yes.
And how I got where I was, and because I think everybody has a right to know. But now, because there's a lot of things going on there about my name, because they said a lot of people, there were some YouTube videos out there, people were saying that I was like a CIA agent because of my name change, which we thought was kind of funny. But,
yep.
So I was born in Michigan when I was 2, and we moved to Arizona. I was born in Michigan, and when I was 2, we moved to Arizona. And my real dad was very abusive, and he kicked me with cowboy boots on. He picked up a gravel full of rocks one time and threw them at me and cut my head open. He tried to throw me through a wall when I was 6 months old. My mom says, "What are you doing to our baby?" Because I wouldn't stop crying. So there was quite a bit of abuse in my younger years. I remember me and my sister both watched him beat my mom up in a laundry room, and then they divorced when I was 6 or 7, and my stepmom, we remember him tying her up and putting her in the closet. And he had a drinking problem, and believe it or not, he was actually a police officer for the state of Michigan. And so growing up, the encounters I've had with authority were never good, and they're giving these people guns to go out, and it's just. But my dad was called to testify up there in Oregon, and he lied under oath on the stand, and we thought it was pretty interesting because the defense attorney didn't want to call my biological mother because she would have refuted everything my dad said, so they had to get somebody to fit their deal. But anyway, so he's just and I forgive him, I love him, he's my dad. But anyway, so my mom remarried Randy Cooper, which is my stepdad. I think I was like 8 years old when they started dating together. He was my mom's training officer, and both my parents were police officers for the city of Phoenix. And when I turned, I think it was 27, 28, because my sister had changed her name to Laura Cooper. He was the one that really raised me, and so I went in and had my name changed legally from Stanley Blaine Hicks Jr. to Blaine Cooper because I wanted to take the name of my stepdad because, he was there for me, and I felt more of a connection with him. My sister had changed her name, and so everybody was Cooper but me, so family reunions were a bit weird, and I thought, well, I kind of want to be a Cooper too. And so I changed it, and so that's where my name change came in.
No, hey, Blaine, I'm not going to interrupt you just quickly, but I go to a Bible study with maybe 20 guys, and I would say over 75% of them, maybe even more, they don't use their own name. So it's not unusual.
I'm sorry?
I'm just saying it's not unusual for people to have multiple names. It's not a big deal at all from my perspective.
Right. It was just one time, and I kept that name, and that's who I am, and so, but, mean, for people listening, I want them to realize that that's what led up to my name change later on in my life, and I legally changed it, and so, you know, it is what it is. But
Yeah. No,
and I had I suffered from a lot of problems from the abuse from my dad. I was put in institutions. I was in these institutions. Horrible things happened to me. There was one time where I was stripped naked and thrown in one of those little timeout rooms, and they beat me for 2 days without food. One guy came in there, a couple guys came in there, and they peed on me. So I had some pretty horrible experiences, and you know, as I got older, I grew out of a lot of that, of course, you know, and but I was in and out of jail because I had a temper problem from it, and I got into a lot of fights when I was a kid, and it really ruined my life, and so I really didn't do anything significant with my life, and so when I saw what was happening in my nation, I'm like, how come there's not somebody like a Marine or like, you know, somebody of good stature who wants to stand against this stuff that's going on in our country? But nobody was taking the fight to them, and I said, well, if nobody else is going to do it, I'll do it, you know. Maybe God can use me. And I didn't want to do it because I knew people would use my past against me, but I didn't care because it was the right thing to do. And so, that's when I started confronting John McCain. I led coalitions to the border to defend the border from, illegal aliens and drug smugglers, terrorists, and whatever else was coming through that border the best I could because, you know, we're limited. There's not a lot I can do. And we helped save a lot of illegal aliens' lives, too. There's a lot of people that are being dropped off in middle deserts with their kids, and they're dying out there. And so we came across a lot of people who needed medical attention, and we were able to save their lives. And that led into the Bundy Ranch. And I just think it doesn't matter who you are. God doesn't call the qualified. God qualifies the called. And
Amen.
He's going to use you no matter who you are. And I hope people understand that you know, I'm not perfect. I'm just a vile, wretched sinner like anyone else, saved by the pure mercy and grace of God through faith. That is it. And if there's any righteousness, it's only the blood of Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
So.
No.
And I hope when people listen to this that they'll have a deeper understanding of things that I went through. And I think I'm glad I went through that stuff because I think in the long run it's going to make me a better person. It's going to make me stronger. And I was able to overcome a lot of things. I remember when I first had kids, I wanted to get some counseling to help dig up some of the stuff in the past that happened to me when I was a kid. And it was very painful because we don't want to admit that our past has a hold on us like that. And a lot of stuff came out in there that I didn't realize I have. And my pastor, Pastor Kirk Eikenberry at Faith Baptist Church, an awesome man of God, very faithful, was the only man that I've ever met who really I connected with the love of Christ. And he really led me to the Lord in a strong way. And but even he told me after I told him my story, he said it's a miracle I never killed anybody. And I said, well, I don't want to ever have to take somebody's life. I think human life is precious. I said that who would want to do that? And it should always be peaceful. And but and he thought it was really that my life could have ended up a lot worse. And God was able to use me in this movement to expose a lot of the things that were happening. And when I saw the Bundys being abused the way they were that day at Bunkerville, I was like, I cannot just stand here and let this happen. Because I remember what that was like when I was abused. It's a horrible feeling. And nobody should have to be abused like that. And authority should know better that what did Jesus say? The master is not above their servant. They are friends. And our government should be more of a friend to us, people we can go to get things done, that they can listen to us, but it's the exact opposite. They ignore us at every turn.
Yep. Hey, do you think we should go visit Casey Massey? He lives down the road from us.
Absolutely. Casey Massey did a lot of hard work on the border, and I believe he was. And I don't agree with the putting people in jail for a felon in possession because like they have a right to bear arms. It says in the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It doesn't say shall not be infringed because you're a convicted felon. It does not say you shall, everybody should have a right to defend their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, regardless of their past. And it just seems that we just don't have any true forgiveness in this country anymore. We let these fascist paper trails, and you know what happens is a lot of these people, they have nothing left. Their lives have been destroyed, and so they can't go get a job. They can't support their family. They can't get an edge. And so what do? They just commit more crimes because what else are they left with? And I think we as a people need to help them more. Remember those that are in bonds, that you are in bonds with them. And that is a commandment in the Bible from Jesus himself. When I was in hunger, you gave me food. When I was in prison and sad, you comforted me. Things like that. And why do we have such a condemning nature on people the way we do? No, I'm not. But I'm a strong believer in law and order, but not oppression.
Yeah. Amen. I mean, I think it's really good that people are hearing, your heart and your thoughts because, there's just you haven't been given a chance, I think, to since you've been locked up, at least that I'm aware of, and it's
right.
important. Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff I really didn't I didn't want to answer for because I really don't feel like I have to. But
right.
I mean, if it puts people's mind at ease, I'm not a liar. I'll be honest. I'm a truthful guy, and I think it's just a lot of people who are haters.
Yeah.
Maybe jealousy, or maybe maybe it's the other side because they're trying to attack your credibility to bring you down, so you can't be effective with your voice. And I don't care what somebody did in their past. If they did their time and they paid their debt to society, and they're a changed person and they're different, then absolutely. If they're telling the truth, why should it matter? If they're out there being a voice for my freedom, I don't care who they are.
Right.
At least somebody's doing it.
Right.
How come all these people in positions of power who are good, honorable people who don't have that stuff in their past aren't doing anything? If you ask me, they're the ones that are going to be held accountable.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I don't think God's going to hold people guiltless.
Yeah.
My mom, I was thinking the other day about the word apathy, and what happened in World War II when the Nazis were in there throwing women and children and innocent people in the gas chambers. I mean, they're in those gas chambers. They still got. You can go in there and there's fingernails stuck into the metal where people try to claw their way out of them, and that was the law. So that was a law for the government to kill innocent people. And if we have a duty to disobey the law if it's unjust, I mean, if any, that would be one that would be unjust that you should disobey. And I don't think God's going to hold people guiltless if they don't stand against something like that, or at least say, "Hey, what you're doing is wrong. Stop doing this to people."
We got to speak up. We absolutely got to speak up. And what you guys did out there in Oregon and Nevada, I thought it was a tremendous statement, of American freedom and what American ideals are all about. Let me ask you this: if people want to help your family, right? You said your wife and your kids are possibly going to get thrown out. Is there some website, or what can they do if they want to help out?
We don't have a website. I mean, I could give you my wife's phone number. You'd be lucky if she picked up.
Yeah.
She has a rough time, getting along. I could give you my house phone number.
Well, I won't.
She's going to need help moving.
Gotcha.
She's going through a rough time. My kids are too. My kids grew up with me. I was a stay-at-home dad for a long time because when the economy fell out, there just wasn't any jobs, and me and my wife were like, well, if I stay home with the kids, we save $200 a week in daycare. Yeah. And so I raised my kids, and so my kids aren't used to having daddy gone like this. And every time I call them, they even my little girl, Sissy, told me, she goes, "Daddy, you should have never went into the refuge." I'm like, oh,
wow,
I don't want to say to that, because she doesn't understand that that I didn't really have a choice. I believe we were called by God and the Holy Spirit to go in there and do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether we broke the law or not is irrelevant, but I think what's more inclined here, if there is a huge injustice, does God allow injustice to take place? There's a Bible verse there in Psalm 94, verse 20, and it says, "Shall the throne of iniquity, which devises evil by law, have any fellowship with you?" And I think that is a very, very powerful verse. You know, of people using the law to do evil, to steal and extort millions. I mean, America has the highest prison population in the world. Do they really expect me to believe that all these people are bad people and belong here?
No, yeah, that's something we talk about quite a bit. Is America has 4.5% of the world's population, but we have 25% of the world's prison population.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
In a country where we advocate liberty and freedom, and our federal system is very draconian, and then America likes to point fingers around the world about how horrible the rest of the nations are, but they don't look at themselves and be like, well, you're really no different. You may not be killing people or murdering them in the streets like people do in other countries, but you're sure locking them away for the rest of their life for
Oh, yeah.
stuff they probably shouldn't go away to prison for the rest of their life for.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. We've even learned about these secret CMU prisons that are run by the Joint Terrorism Task Force, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of our friends are even considered to be put there. It's like a secret prison. It's called the Communications Management Unit. They have them in Marion, Illinois, as well as Terre Haute, Indiana. But let me ask you this real quick, Blaine. Your address. Did you get my postcard that we mailed? Have you got a postcard from us?
No, I have not.
Okay.
It might just take a while to get here.
Okay.
I really don't even know the address here to write.
I see.
They took all my legal paperwork and all my mail, and they put it in a plastic bag, and when I asked for it, they wouldn't give it to me, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of need that stuff. But here it is. And I'll say one thing, man, the CDC really needs to walk through this jail. It is the most disgusting, unsanitary place I think I ever been. They are really, it's really bad. It took like 13 hours to get through the booking process. There was bodies, people laying on top of each other because there's no room. They don't give them things to clean with. There was one room I went in, it just reeked of pee and poop, and I'm just like, this is inhumane to do to any human being. Why is this happening?
Yeah.
And I did hear that Michelle Fiore, this might be her jail. I don't know if she's going to make city council, but she had talked about it. And I told her, I said, you should really do a tour for that jail. A lot of things need to change. It's really not run very well, but, I'm in a big dorm. A lot of the guys in here are Christians, and I get to witness to a lot of people. So the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, as Jesus said.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my job in here. I felt that while I'm here, I need to share my faith, and if I can lead somebody to the Lord, to do so. That's my commandment, to preach ye to all the world, and to because I want as many as I can to come home to Jesus with me too.
Amen.
Jesus doesn't want anybody to perish, regardless of who they are.
Amen. We love Michelle Fiore. We absolutely love her to death, and we do hope she gets.
Awesome.
Yes, we hope she gets that city council.
And just FYI to all the listeners out there who are going to listen to this, I gave my life for this cause. I spent everything I had, and I didn't have much. I'm not rich. I'm broke now. It's destroyed my life. But I hope, God, in the future it'll be worth it. I hope more people will dig into that Constitution, and instead of condemning each other, they'll start to look, well, hey, I may not agree with what you have to say, but you have a right just as much as I do to protest and make your voice heard, along with it's peaceful, of course. And it really was peaceful until the FBI got involved, started shooting people. And I find it odd that in 3 years in this movement,
1 minute remaining.
never once was I ever visited by the FBI or law enforcement. Not once. Nobody told me I was ever doing anything wrong, or anybody. And the only time within these 3 years that anybody was shot or there was shots fired was by the federal government, not by the people. And I think that is concrete of where the problem is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, are you going to be in this prison permanently, or is this a temporary thing?
This is temporary. January,
Okay.
so I'm probably going to get tossed around a little bit. But
Okay.
I hope everybody takes this to heart, and I love everybody out there. And put your faith and trust in Jesus, because all the glory goes to Him. And we need to pray for the Bundys. They're good people. I love them. I love this cause, and I did the best I could with what I had.
It's good to hear your voice, Blaine. It really is good to hear your heart. And we're going to keep some money on this line, and we're going to keep the phone always open.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for all your help.
All right. We're going to be praying for you and the Bundys, and for Skylar Barbeau and Pete Santilli and the Ammons and everybody else caught up in this situation. And we pray that God finds a pathway for them out of there. We lost him.